I was told that today I needed to discuss some of my personal journeys. And I think today it's about how I started my mentoring journey. A few years ago, I found myself in a place where I did not understand what was happening with my career. And at that point in time, it happened before the pandemic. Actually, I can't remember the exact year, but it was before the pandemic. And my career the funny part was I was making good money. I was just not happy with the direction in which my career was going or headed. I was making good money. I was in a good position. I had a good job title. Everything was looking good, but I was just not satisfied. And I didn't really understand what was going on or what I wanted or what I needed. So luckily I met with a career coach. Her name is Kelly. The 1 hour journey or the 1 hour meeting I had with Kelly that day pulled what is called a transformation in my career trajectory. Kelly is not really a tech coach. She is just a career coach. But the entire discussion I had with her was for 58 minutes. But after I had that 58 minutes discussion, it helped me to perceive some of the things I needed to do and where I should push my career to, and some of the levels I needed to go to career-wise. A lot of the places where I did not see myself was receiving what is called clarity. And I was very happy with the transformation. During that period, I was working with a lot of two organizations, two as a tech mentor and one as what I call an empowerment coach. I was speaking with my students. Changes were coming, but I did not really see it as something I wanted to take on one-on-one. It was just something I was doing as my own way of giving back to the community. And they were receiving a lot of transformation. But during that period, I gained the clarity, and that was how my cybersecurity advisory service, Thrive and Secure, was born. So I started doing that. But I knew and I realized there was still more that I needed to do. For me, it was not about, at that point in time, it was not about the finance or the money. It was just about being fulfilled. I knew there was something I needed. I had this yearning and calling that I needed to fulfill. There was a purpose I was not fulfilling, but I could not really understand it. But one of the things I realized that gave me a lot of joy was that for the organizations that I was mentoring, whenever they called me and said, people that were calling me then, they were reaching out to me through LinkedIn. It's thousands of people. Oh, from what you told us last time, I did this, I felt so much of joy. So during the pandemic, I started to mentor one-on-one. I started taking on one-on-ones, and they were receiving so much of transformation and a lot of fast impact, that it even surprised me, because it was not something I anticipated during that period that was going to happen. I decided to go do a certification as a career coach, as well as an entrepreneurship coach. An entrepreneurship and business coach, yes, during that same period as well. So during the pandemic, just took a few courses, so I became a career coach. I took the certification to become an entrepreneurship and business coach as well. But like I said, I was not really sure where that was headed. For me, it was just about fulfilling my purpose and helping people. But the more these people were being helped, the more they were bringing in, their own friends or their counterparts. Anyone they would like, oh, I know this lady, she was the one that helped me. And I started to, the more I kept doing it, I felt fulfillment in my purpose. So one day I sat myself down and came to the realization, it's not just about fulfilling the purpose. It's not just about helping these people. Where are you headed? And the more I sat down to think about it, it occurred to me that I think one of the reasons why I felt fulfilled was because A lot of the mistakes that I made in the past with regards to my career, I was helping a lot of these people overcome them through my own journey. So I reached what is called an epiphany in my reflection, and it occurred to me that one of the things I needed to do was to be serving people at a high level, not just to help them overcome those mistakes that I made. I always tell people I have about close to 20 certifications. Some of those certifications I would never have done if I had found someone to guide me and tell me, you are not going to need this, you are not going to need this. I've had about 23 years, about almost 23, 24 years in IT. And of the 23, 24 years, I've had to figure out a lot of things for myself. I've done so many aspects. You won't even believe it. I've done more than 10 aspects of tech. I've done help desk. I've done technical support. I've done data operations. I've done so many cloud technology. Before I eventually settled for cybersecurity, I did a lot of aspects because I was trying to figure out coding, programming. I was everywhere. Before I figured out that cybersecurity was where I wanted to settle. But one of the things that occurred to me at that point in time was the fact that if I asked someone to guide me and tell me, this is where I think you should head, these are the things I think you should do, these are the area and the aspects that I think you need to follow, I had someone to be like my guiding light. There's so many mistakes I would not even have done. I wouldn't even be going all over. Now, I'm the kind of person that also believes that I don't like to waste money. I don't like to waste time. So as much as possible, when I mentor people, I think one of the reasons why we get very fast results and what I would call successful outcomes is that we are not just working on the process, we are focused on the outcome. That's one of my goals. I like to be very focused on the outcomes. And like one of my mentees told me, he said, you always stay with the rotten fruits. You do better with the rotten fruits. So I had to ask him, what exactly does that mean? And he explained something to me that I never really thought about. It was the fact that there are lots of, I'm going to be very, I'm not going to be diplomatic at this point. I'm going to be very straightforward. There are a lot of schools, a lot of people are starting their own training programs, training centers, even when they themselves don't know what they're doing. Unfortunately, for some of them, they know what they're doing, but they are more focused on just fast-tracking the programs because they believe that the more programs they're able to do, the more money they can make. So it's not about getting the students to actually understand what they are learning. It's just about passing them through the process without successfully looking at the outcomes. And I think that's one of the reasons why I seem to do better with those kind of people that have gone through those kind of programs. When they come to me, I'm able to successfully lead them to a place of impact where they get their outcomes at a very fast rate. To the glory of God, I think that has been my success story. Through the two organizations that I have been working with, I think we've had thousands of people who have shared their stories, who have told me how much impact or how they were able to get their jobs. But between the pandemic and this year, 2024, I know that personally, for those of them that have gone through, or those of them that I have spoken to one-on-one, those of them that have run through my program successfully, I've had about 22 people who had 6-figure jobs. I'm very targeted. So if I tell you to do this and you can successfully complete everything that we've talked about, you tell me your goals, you tell me your vision, you tell me everything that you want or you need to be done. It's my job not only to be able to serve as a mentor, but also as a coach. One of the things I explain to people is that there's a difference between a coach and a mentor. Both of them are guiding lights. But it's not in all aspects I come in as a mentor. In some aspects, I do come in as a coach. Now, what does that mean? I want us to look at an example of someone who has to go on a race. Let me use a car race. And he has two people to help him. One is going to be a coach, one is going to be a mentor. Now, it's the responsibility of the coach to draw up a plan for how he is going to succeed in the race, how he's going to win. Based off of his strengths, they will look at his weaknesses and the opportunities as well as the threats they have to take advantage of. Then he also has to look at how he can overcome some of those weaknesses in order to be able to win that race. The person that is going to help him plan and tell him this is how everything should go is the coach. The coach does not necessarily have to be a race driver. He's just going to be a very strategic person that understands how the race should be won. That's the job of a career coach. Now, the job of the mentor is because the mentor was also a race driver, or what I would say is still a race driver that has seen the races, that has passed through the system, knows where all the pitfalls are, knows where all the stops are. He is the one that is going to be like the person that speaks into the ears of the driver, telling him, this is where the traffic stops are. This is where the pitfalls are. These are where the potholes are. Don't fall into the pothole. Don't do this. It's like the one that is holding the hand of the race driver throughout that journey. And even at every step to help them to elevate. Now, both of them have different jobs. Both of them have different roles in the life of the race driver. For me, the race driver is like whoever needs mentorship or coaching at that point in time. What you need is dependent on the situation. There are some instances that you probably have to have like a mix of the two. So sometimes I have to come in as a coach. Sometimes I have to come in as a mentor. So I'm talking right now about my mentoring journey. But like I said, it's been a time of fulfillment. I love when people come back and tell me, oh, do you know, I went for this interview. I was able to get this job. I was able, those are the kind of things that make me happy. The success stories of the people that you are working with, the people that you're serving. When you hear about somebody that had never been in tech coming back to tell you they nailed a 6-figure job, you know you have actually reached what is called the level of fulfillment. When someone that is a recent graduate comes to you and tells you, oh, I was able to get this job, this interviewer talked to me, or even when they're able to get their first interviews, just looking at them getting just their first interviews, the way, the kind of enthusiasm they bring in at that point in time makes you fulfilled. And that is one of the things I love about mentorship. Mentorship for me is not just about the person that is being mentored. It's also for me as the mentor, because it gives you a level of fulfillment to see these people reach what is called their place of transformation. That's what I have achieved through mentorship at this time. I think I've shared my personal journey, right? Thank you, everybody. Have a lovely day.